Okay, it's late at night and I just want to get this over with quick, and it's just a quick overview of the latest version, which is a slightly more automated version, and I'm calling this ECcalc27. And let's just dig into it. The chart now has this section right here, which is 7D, which is the 7th generation of the diffuser wave. So that's going to factor in at high RPM. Right here is a calculator, so you don't have to go through this looping process a number of times. It automatically loops through 3 times to give the correct header, diffuser, and belly. And the goal is to have the end of 2D about 0.2 milliseconds before exhaust closing. So just to illustrate, I'm going to change these numbers. And when I click this, you'll see that these numbers will change. It's pretty fast. Okay, this is a little different right here also. Here you have to enter into the sheet metal thickness at the header and for the rest of the pipe. And right here, this is the suggested diameter of inner diameter for the stinger, which is the closest of these amounts right here from Metal's depot to the actual ideal stinger diameter. And so this amount will go right here into the stinger diameter for when you are designing a pipe, unless you want it bigger or smaller. My recommendation is if you have a flared header, which reduces the diffuser wave, you definitely don't want to go smaller. You'd want to go maybe even one size larger. The advantage of going smaller on a diffuser is you get a little bit more pipe boost at high RPM. But that's assuming that you've got a normal intake. When you use a flared header, it reduces the delivery ratio because it has less suction to act on the crankcase. So if you wanted to have a different inner diameter than that, you would just type it in right here. Huh? It's protected. Hold on a second. Now I've unprotected it so I can enter in whatever amount I want, and it will display right here. So this is an override. Sheet 4, this all remains the same. What's different now is that I'm using this section to calculate the percentage efficiency of the transfers in relation to the RPM, and I'm multiplying that times the intake value on sheet 3. And if you don't know the value, the total transfer width, about 2/3 of the transfers down, then you can just go by these numbers right here. This is for a modern race engine that's got lots of porting, probably 4 side transfers and a number of boost ports. This number right here is for old style engines that have 2 side transfers and minimal boost ports. So if you don't know it, and you know you got 4 side transfers into this number, if you know you got 2 side transfers into this number, but it's always best to measure it. And so you enter in that total transfer width here and the millimeters above the transfer port to the deck. And the online calculator that I was using the Lambretta is no longer functioning. That website is down. And the other two websites I can find that have calculators, if you're going to use them, make sure you understand that they use the millimeters from BDC, the bottom dead center, to the top of the port. So if so you just have to find the difference by subtracting that amount by the total stroke. Okay, anyway, after you enter those two, all you got to do is click right here on calculate, and it will calculate in the yellow zone here the percentage efficiency of the transfers per RPM. Okay, on sheet 2, I've eliminated the ability to choose 1 and 2 cone diffusers because I'm so convinced that 3 cone is the only way to go. But if you're dead set on doing that, or if you're lazy, you only want to make a 1 cone diffuser, you can design it right here. In which case you'd have to select manual instead of automatic. As long as the X is here automatic, you don't have to touch this section at all. What it goes by is the beginning and end diameter and the length that you have set right here on sheet 1. What you do mess with is the baffle calculator. For automatic calculation, we've got 5 or 6 settings here, and these are all macros, which are automated sequences of actions. And this one will calculate a 100 millimeter baffle, this 140, this 180, 220, 260, and 300. 300 is the longest that sheet 3 can handle. And once you click it, you can look over here and watch the numbers change. Right now it's set on 140. I'm going to click 100. And it takes about 2 seconds. And you see that 10 numbers are placed here. I'm going to go back to 140. And if you're analyzing a pipe, you use this right here. And then you enter in the angles and the diameters and such. So on sheet 3, this section is the same, the autograph is the same, but below it is different. I've got this section out here, which when you click autograph, it takes about 3 seconds, and then the graph will show, and the baffle length that it's using, which it got from sheet 2, will display right here. So if you wanted to store these horsepower numbers in this section right here, you can click right here, store in row 1, and it'll put them all right there. And then you go back to sheet 2, you want to try a different baffle length, you click on a different one, go back to sheet 3. You know you need to click this because it doesn't show 180, which is what I clicked on sheet 2. It's still showing 140. After it calculates for 180, it'll show the correct baffle length here. And so I want to put that in row 2. I'll click right here. And you just keep doing that for however many you want to. And then you've got the record of them right here. You can eyeball to see which you like the best. Okay, we want 220. Here's 220. Okay. I want row 3. There it is. Okay. And then we've got this section right here that shows the pipe, 3-stage diffuser, 1-stage baffle. And you can have a flared header or a straight header. If you get a straight header, it'll show the angle of A1 as being 0, as it does here. These are the angles right here. These are the inner diameters right here. And these are the lengths of each section right here. So L1 is from the face of the piston to the beginning of the diffuser. So that about covers it. If you can't use these, you can enter the numbers here manually. And the same goes for all the macros. You can do everything that the macro can do manually. Okay, my friend, that's it. I'm going to post this on YouTube and go to bed.